So this is going to be a preliminary tour of my basement gym. I say preliminary because I still have a few more changes to make, such as I have a rep 4100 bench going to come in Sunday to replace this Kepi Fitness bench. This bench was actually, for what you get for $200 is a great bench, but I wanted rep benches because it's more designed to stand up in a more compact position because I'm limited in space. I'll include a picture of what this basement looked like before. It was previously just storage because I did not think I could make much use of it because of the odd drop ceiling that is here to cover up the HVAC system. So when you first walk in the room, it's basically about 10 foot by 7 foot, is 88 inches tall. Then the ceiling drops down to about 6'1". Then comes in and then starts to slope back up until it gets back up to the 88 inches for roughly around, I believe it's like around 50 inches. So, and the total, I'm not sure about the length, but the total length is probably around 25 feet. So the machinery I picked was done in a way due to the limited space. For example, there was really no way I was going to be able to fit a functional trainer and a power rack. So I got this bells of steel stacked towers. They mount directly to the wall here, so technically I could put it out wider, which I may do. I may put it out wider and then put a Titan foldable rack in between. That way when I don't need to use a rack, I have a little bit more, like anywhere from 60 to 72 inches between the two cables. The current setup now is to allow for this system to act as a rack. So there's some spotter arms down on the floor, some J hooks. They go right on here. And so I can do benches and squats right here in this area. And then I have the pulley system. It's a pretty nice system. Aluminum pulleys, 210-pound stack. But again, the reason why I chose it is because it allows me to space it out however I want to space it out. For the equipment I have here, it's predominantly Titan. Some of it is some stuff I got off Faithful's Marketplace. Some of it I bought new when it was on sale, such as the vertical press. The vertical press, though, I do have on Marketplace to sell because I ordered the body solid compact lead leg sled. PowerTech makes a similar version. Titan makes a similar version. But I like the body solid because it goes up to 1,000 pounds and has a lifetime warranty on it as long as it's used for in-home use and not commercial use. The Titan pec deck, which I was surprised on how well and how smooth that works, and also the rear delt. There's quite a few videos out there where people indicate there's a problem getting full range of motion on doing the rear deck, and that is because of the way the holes are spaced out. And so some people are drilling a 6-hole here, but it's not necessary. When there's not weight on here, what you can do is just pull this pin and let this slide out to you more, and then the pin will go all the way on the inside, and these will almost be touching here. It'll give you 100% full range of motion. No need to drill a hole in. The only thing you have to do is you just have to get the weight off, because you have to be able to slide that pivot over a little bit. Over here I have an X-Mark lat pull down that I got off Marketplace. Really inexpensive. I was going to buy the PowerTech plate version, which has optional weight stack you can add to it. But for a functional trainer, to me, the stacks are pretty important because you're constantly changing the weights. and it's just way too complicated or time consuming or a hassle to be changing out plates on there. But when you do a lap pull down, you're not making that many changes. So, but like I said, I was going to get the PowerTech, even though this, is a great unit for two reasons. Is the way this bracket at the top goes up at an angle versus Minium goes straight across. And some of the time the weight, just the way the weight distribution is, makes it a little bit more wobbly, not feeling as solid. You have some of them out on the market have this slide on a square tube versus the two individual guide rods. The only issue that I had with this, and the reason why I was leaning to get the PowerTech, is, again, I needed one that would fit in this area, but give me full range of motion. So previously, this version here, when I did a super wide lat, it'd be no problem. But anytime my grip got a little closer, I would not be able to get, unless I lean back, I would not be able to get a full range of motion. The plates would bottom out before my arms reach full extension. So that's why I was going to get the PowerTech. I looked at the Titan, but I preferred the PowerTech version. But what I decided to do instead, an easy fix, is because I really like this. I like this specific setup, because of this. You can flip the seat up. You have access to the bottom rower. You have this plate down here. You flip the plate up to do your low rows. To do the low rows, I do that. And I just bought a replacement rep pad. You can get them from Titan. I'm not sure why I got the rep one, because again, I just used it to sit it on the floor. But it got here quickly, not expensive. And I laid that on the floor, so it feels more like the bench, padded bench you use in a gym for a seated row. But what I did is I just had a local welder just chop this piece off here, this plate here, cut it off, cut 2 inches out of this bottom post, weld it back on. So essentially I dropped the seat 2 inches. I still fit in it very well. It's basically just the same height as the PowerTech bench. And now that 2 inches makes a very big difference because I get full range of motion. You'll notice here, I have like 2 PowerTech benches. This bench I just picked up the other day, unbelievable price. These, I believe, they're $8.99 new. I got it on Marketplace for $3.50. And the reason is I originally bought this PowerTech full multi function that does, you can set up to do squats. You use the lats. It's the shoulder presses all the way down the decline. Because originally, like I said, this space was storage, so I'd only planned on using a portion of this for the bottom gym here. So this was originally placed right here, but as I started adding on equipment, because my setup design is not for powerlifting. I'm 52 years old now, but I still want to maintain my strength, and I'm working out more for health and aesthetics. Since I started back in July, I was 235 pounds. Now I'm 179 pounds. And so what I wanted was equipment that mirrored what I would use if I was going to a commercial gym. Because, back in the day I used to go all the time, but in the last 12 years I just don't have time for it. But since I set it up down here, I want similar equipment that are easy. I go from machine to machine. So after doing that, it made this PowerTech, full PowerTech, obsolete. So I will be putting this up for sale as well on Marketplace. That will allow me to take this machine, move it over there, give it a little bit more space, slide this shoulder press, lateral raise machine over, because I do kind of want to put a little kitchen area with a refrigerator in this section. When I converted it to a gym, I also wanted it to be a place that it was comfortable to be down here. You wanted to be down here. Had some extra chases that used to be in my den, so I set that up. And so it's a place I like to come down to get away from the all the hustle and bustle and all the kids and the dogs and everything upstairs. I had originally, when I had got the PowerTech, I also got the dip attachment, got the leg extension, got the preacher curl. Great thing is all of those still will work on the PowerTech multi-press. But this dip one, not the biggest fan of it, only because, you takes up a lot of space. You have to put it in here. It's a little bit on the wobbly side. So if you're going to binge, you have to, set this up versus if you wanted a superset or something, which I like to do, because I use dips primarily more, not all the time, more as an accessory type exercise. Hit the try, lean forward if I want to hit the chest. But for chest, I typically, do those 3 core ones: a chest press, an incline, and some type of pec motion, whether it's with the pec deck or with the cable flies. And again, I like a lever gym type setup, because when I used to lift heavy a lot in my younger days, I've had shoulder injuries. And so I just, when I used to go to the gym, I always used the hammer strength style machines. Again, my gym is set up it's not really due to budget or anything. It's the space. I'm limited to the machines that I can put down here. They all have to be able to be fully assembled. I love to get hammer strength, Cybex, those type of machines I see them on Marketplace all the time. But they're usually full units. There's no way they're going to come down here and fit in this space. So yeah. So the next video I do will be after I sell this lever gym and reorganize, put in the compact leg press. Again, I picked that over a full leg press. I like how it is on my back. It feels more like a traditional horizontal leg press that you would usually do with plates. Is how those compact leg sleds are. They call them a leg sled / hack squat, but since it's not putting the pressure on your shoulders, it's really not a hack. It doesn't feel like a hack squat. It doesn't hurt your back, doesn't hurt your shoulders, and doesn't hurt your knees. So it's my preferred motion. That's one of the reasons I got the vertical too. The vertical, it's not the most comfortable position upright, but it too doesn't put a lot of stress on my back. Over here, for storage, those are just steel. I know I see a lot of people using the wall control, but I just got these steel pegboards at Home Depot where they $10 a piece, and you get a set of hooks, on Amazon, a whole giant set for, $15, $20. Bars over here, inexpensive, some bumper plates and some bars I got. Ethos. When I first started working out back in July, I started on the tonal machine. Great machine. It's what motivated me to get back to working out. But I pretty quickly, once I dropped the 55 pounds and started building muscle, which I was not expecting, I just got the machine just to get back in shape. But I started getting, back in shape pretty much the way I did when I was in my 40s and 30s, which gave me a lot of motivation to build out a full gym. So then I just started picking up equipment. Some of my the artwork I have here, motivational for me, is Arnold Schwarzenegger. When I started working out back in 1982, 80 serious, when I was 15 and 85. The first book on bodybuilding I ever read was a book done by Arnold Schwarzenegger. So, and I prefer that era of the physique of that era. So a few other things I didn't go over is the flooring is that Tractor Supply, 4 foot by 6 foot, 3/4 inch stall mat. It's I first started with I was planning on only needing about 6 pieces. I'm probably up to about 12 at this stage. It's very easy to lay, very easy to cut. It can be a little tricky when you're cutting around objects. While I was cutting around this basement pole here, I slipped with the razor knife, cut across here 12 stitches. That was back around mid-December, so that kind of set me back because it limited how I could work out. The whole reason I was building the gym to get more serious in the little injury there kept me from any serious workouts. Luckily, good thing for the lever gym, because on a lever system, you can press on the outside of your hands. You don't have to grip, because gripping a bar was impossible with this hand. But it's healing up nicely. So, golden rule, always cut away from your body. So this concludes the tour of my basement gym. And as soon as I make a few more upgrades and changes, I'll probably post another video.